Hi, this is Dr. Sharma again. I'm working on a demonstration problem to show how you prepare the introductory financial statements. As you all remember from the discussion we had in the previous videos, the income statement is prepared for a period, so is the statement of retained earnings, and then the balance sheet is prepared for a particular day. It is good as on that date. Now, the problem reads as follows: the account balance of Tika Matthews, who runs a wealth management firm, whereas follows for the month ending August 31st, 2020. Tika Wealth Management Services had a balance of 290,000 in retained earnings as of August 1st, 2020, and had paid dividends of 80,000 during the month. So these are two pertinent information required to prepare the retained earnings. And the rest of the information is given to you in alphabetical order. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to use the format that I have developed to prepare the financial statement. You can develop the similar kind of a format or any format that you would like. There is no hard and fast rule, but I'll be talking over the formatting, how to go about. Now let's start with the solution. As you can see in this one, I have developed a format. So it's demonstration problem 1, 2. The first is the income statement. Now usually what we do is we write the name of the company. In this case, it is Tika Matthews Wealth no, it is, I think, Tika only. Tika Wealth Management Services. Okay, and then I'm preparing an income statement. So I'm going to write income statement. And then now here, as I said to you, whether you're preparing a periodic statement or a particular date statement. Now this is a periodic statement, so I'm going to select the first option for the month of ended August 31st, 2020. Now, as I have been saying to you, in the income statement, we always start with the revenue. So that is what we are going to do as well. So let me enlarge that and just focus on that. So the revenue that I had is only a fees earned. So if you look at here, there is a fees earned of 289,000. So that's what I'm going to do. Fees earned, and the amount is 289,000. So that's the first thing. And then I have a space for all the expenses. Now, usually, as I've said, expenses should be in a descending order, and the last should be miscellaneous expense. So let's take the expense, look at the expenses, and if you look at the expenses, salaries expense is 110,000, and then rent is 66. So auto is 32. So supplies is 9,000. So essentially it is salaries expense, that's top of the list. So we'll start with the salaries expense. Amount is 110,000. And the next highest amount was the rent. So I'm going to do rent expense, that is 66,000. And then the next I'm going to do is the auto expense, that's going to be 32,000. And the next I'm going to do supplies expense, so that's going to be 9,000. Remember, the miscellaneous expense has to be at the last, so that's why I'm leaving that for the last, irrespective of the amount. Otherwise it should have come before the supplies expense, but since I said to you miscellaneous is always last. Now what we can do is we can add these and get the total expenses. So total expenses 226,600. Let's calculate what is the net income. Net income is revenue minus the total expense. So that will give you 62,400. So that is the amount of net income the business has made in this period. Now we are going to go ahead and prepare the retained earnings statement. So on the top, I'm going to write the name of the company, Tika Wealth Management Services. And then I'm going to write a retained earnings statement. That's the second statement I'm preparing. And that is also for the period. So I'm going to use this one for the month ended August 31st. We always start with the opening balance of the retained earnings. Remember, we were told that retained earnings was 290,000. So we take that 290,000 and put it here. And then next thing we do is the net income that we have got. So this is net income. Remember, that's the net income. We are bringing it down. So net income you calculated in your income statement was 62,400. So I'm going to bring that down. And then, of course, I'm going to do the dividends. Remember, dividends has to be within parentheses. So it was 80,000. Remember, in the problem again, here it says has paid dividends of 80,000 during the month. So that's the dividend. And now the change in the retained earnings is, of course, going to be net of 17,600 negative, because the negative was higher than the positive. So now if I sum these two numbers, I get 272,400, because this is positive, this is negative. So that is the ending retained earnings amount, which we will bring it down to the balance sheet when we do that. So the third statement we are preparing is a balance sheet. Now in the balance sheet, again we write wealth management services, and then we write a balance sheet. And then remember, here in this balance sheet, it is going to be on a particular day. So I'm going to select August 31st, 2020. Now in the balance sheet, we'll have assets, liabilities, and stockholders' equity. Now in the assets, we try to classify them as current and long-term. So depending upon your data, we have a long-term asset, which is building. So that's why we have current assets and the long-term assets. Normally we start with a cash, so that's what we are going to do. So cash, of course, is 125,000, I suppose. So we are going to do 125,000. And then next is going to be your accounts receivable. So you have accounts receivable, that is 70,000. And then we have supplies of how much? That's going to be 5,000. And then we add them up. So let's just add them up and get 200,000. Now in here, I'll be doing office building. So that was 129,400. Let's check. 129,400. Yes. So the total is going to be 200 plus 129 will be 329,400 will be the total assets. Okay, so it is better that we bold this because it is our heading. And then we are going to go on to the liabilities. If you look at the liabilities, I think we have only one, that's the accounts payable. So let's use that one, accounts payable, and there is 7,000. Now then we have stockholders equity. So in stockholders equity, we have a common stock. So that was given to you as 50,000. And then the retained earnings, of course, remember, we are going to bring this down from here. That is something that you have to really pay attention to. So we bring that closing retained earnings down here, add these two. So if you add these two amounts, the stockholders equity is 322,400, and this one plus the liability should be equal to the total assets. And if you see, it is equal right here, so that is equal. So that means our balance sheet is prepared well. So that's all for this particular video, showing you how to prepare a financial statement from the given balances. Thank you very much. I'll be uploading the format for this video as well.